I get this belt, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to beat Ilia. I'm going to beat Paddy. I'm going to beat Ilia. And then I got to get Max back. Have to. So I need him to win. I need him to beat Charles.
Right.
Actually, I guess it doesn't matter. They both beat me, so I want either one of those back. Yeah. Those are the only two guys that I have the opportunity to get back right now. So that's
I hope Paddy is gonna lose, because if Paddy wins, it's gonna be a problem for me again.
Why do you think so?
I think he's gonna try and avoid me.
You say if he wins against Justin or if he wins against Ilia?
No, against Justin. Against Ilia, he never can beat Ilia.
Okay.
Yeah, he wants me to get hurt because I'm not gonna fight him. I'm a nightmare for him, and he knows that if we're gonna fight, he's gonna lose.
The landscape of the UFC lightweight division has always been a volatile mix of high-stakes drama and bone-crushing athleticism. But as we move through 2026, the tension has reached a fever pitch. At the center of this storm is a matchup that many dismissed as a fantasy only a few years ago. The brash, polarizing Paddy the Baddy Pimblett versus the perennial violence king, Justin the Highlight Gaethje. The conversation surrounding this fight isn't just about who wins. It's about the soul of the division. Some look at Paddy and see a fluke, a guy with a Beatles haircut and a dancing style that
get hurt because I'm not gonna fight him. I'm a nightmare for him, and he knows that if we're gonna fight, he's gonna lose, and he's gonna try not to fight me on his whole life. And I hope Justin Gaethje gonna knock him out and send him back to England, and he can eat his I don't know what he's eating there, chicken or what.
Away for the BMF belt, a belt that you've held before. What do you think of that matchup?
Yeah, I love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah. I hope Max wins. I hope Ilia goes up, and then I can fight Max on the White House card and take the BMF belt and the championship.
seems more suited for a Liverpool nightclub than an octagon. But those within the inner circle of the fight game are starting to warn the doubters. There's a sneaky trick to Paddy's presentation. While his hair is flopping around and he's playing part of the jester, he's quietly dismantling opponents. This weird personality is exactly what makes him a potential Conor McGregor-level superstar. When the world is watching, you either fold under pressure or you thrive in it, and Pimblett seems to have that animal DNA that draws the eyes of millions. However, standing across from him is perhaps the most solid human being in the sport. Justin Gaethje is 36 years old, a veteran of countless wars, but he remains the ultimate litmus test for anyone claiming to be elite. The consensus among analysts is split down the middle. Some believe the mushrooms who doubt Paddy are in for a rude awakening, especially if the fight hits the third or fourth round. If Paddy can find a way to drag Gaethje to the canvas, the math changes instantly. Gaethje can wrestle, and he certainly trains for it. But if Pimblett secures half guard or takes the back, the submission threat becomes a suffocating reality. On the flip side, the power differential is impossible to ignore. Gaethje doesn't just hit people, he deconstructs them. One clean shot from the highlight could send Paddy's championship aspirations into orbit. The intrigue only deepened when Pimblett took the microphone to deliver a prophecy that most found delusional. He didn't just say he'd win, he claimed he was going to knock Justin Gaethje out. In the world of MMA, that's a bold claim when you're facing a man who eats leg kicks for breakfast. Paddy isn't framing this as a lucky punch or a publicity stunt. He speaks with the quiet certainty of a man who has already seen the future. He's tired of being seen as just a grappler who needs a takedown to survive. By vowing to put on Gaethje on the feet, he's looking to redefine his entire legacy in a single night. He expects the world to be shocked, but for him, it's just a logical next step in his ascent to the world title. Meanwhile, Gaethje is approaching this with the cold, calculated mindset of professional spoiler. He's been in this position before. He remembers the interim belt he once threw on the floor because it wasn't the real one, but his perspective has shifted. Now, at this stage of his career, the interim title is a paycheck and a guaranteed ticket to a showdown with the reigning king, Ilia Topuria. Gaethje thrives when he's the one meant to ruin the party. He did it to Tony Ferguson years ago, and he's ready to do it to the Paddy and Ilia hype train now. His preparation for UFC 324 has been described as nothing short of masochistic. If you are enjoying this deep dive into the tactical chess match of the lightweight division and want to stay updated on every breaking development, contract leak, and training camp secret, Make sure to subscribe now. We are committed to bringing you the most insightful MMA analysis on the web, and your support allows us to keep the cage door open. Don't miss out on the next chapter of this saga. Join our community today to ensure you're always the first to know when the sparks fly. To understand how Gaethje plans to dismantle the Liverpool star, you have to look at his grueling training schedule. He's not just working out. He's tearing his body down to rebuild it into something indestructible. His Mondays are a triple-session gauntlet designed to push his cardiovascular limits to the brink. Tuesdays are dedicated to the sharp stuff, sparring and high-speed sprints, while his Wednesdays serve as a 2-session grind. By the time Thursday and Friday roll around, he's down to one workout, but the intensity is so high it would break a lesser man. He knows that at 36, he can't afford to be almost ready. He has to be in the best shape of his life to stop a 30-year-old who is fueled by the frantic energy of his first real title shot. But while Paddy and Justin are sucking all the oxygen out of the room, Arman Tsarukyan is standing in the shadows, looking like the true final boss of the division. With Islam Makhachev moving on from the lightweight ranks, voices like Daniel Cormier are loudly proclaiming that Tsarukyan is the best 155-pounder on the planet. He's big, he's physical, and he's relentless. The narrative that Ilia Topuria, or the winner of Paddy/Gaethje, is the king of the mountain doesn't sit well with those who have watched Arman's technical evolution. He views the number one next to his name as more than just a ranking. It's a statement of fact. To him, the belt is a formality, a piece of leather and gold that just hasn't been physically handed to him yet. The tension between Tsarukyan and Topuria has become personal. Dan Hooker hasn't minced words, suggesting that Topuria is actively ducking the Armenian powerhouse. From Hooker's perspective, Arman is the problem that nobody in the top 5 want to solve. While Topuria takes time off to handle family issues, Arman is calling him out for doing too many interviews for a man who claims to be busy. The verbal jabs have turned into a full-blown rivalry of ideologies. Topuria laughs off the criticism, calling it noise and casting doubt on Arman's reliability, but the fans aren't so sure. They see a champion who has the power to move up to 3 different weight classes, as Uriah Faber suggested, but who might be facing his stiffest stylistic test right at home. The technical breakdown of a potential Topuria versus Tsarukyan fight is a grappling nerd's dream. Luke Rockhold points out that while Topuria is proficient on the mat, Arman is elite. There's a distinct difference between being a good grappler and being a man whose wrestling is so legit it compels you into deep water, whether you like it or not. The question is whether Topuria's crazy power can translate if he's being pushed against the fence and dragged into the mud. Analysts like Behar Degidio argue that Arman is a more well-rounded mixed martial artist, citing his seamless integration of striking, kicking, and wrestling. It's not glazing to say the man has incredible cardio. It's a documented fact of his performances against legends like Charles Oliveira. Even the old guard of the UFC is weighing in. Jorge Masvidal and Renato Moicano both see Arman as the rightful heir to the throne. Masvidal, ever the straight shooter, believes Arman is being unfairly constrained by the politics of the sport. He's urging Tsarukyan to take the head off anyone the UFC puts in front of him, so that Dana White has no choice but a hand in the title shot. In his eyes, the fight to see in 2026 isn't just a spectacle. It's Topuria versus Tsarukyan. They are the 2 best guys at 155, and everything else is just a distraction. Yet, we cannot ignore the freshness factor that Tony Ferguson brought up.